Yo, guys, what is up? And welcome back to another episode of the Game 6 Clay podcast. It's your boy Gotham, my boy Matt. Missing our boy Chuckster on this one, but he had some teeth procedures, something like that. He sent us a picture. He got some puffy cheeks and everything. So, Chuck, hope you're getting well soon, brother. We'll miss you on this one. But, Matt, welcome back, G. How we living?
Dude, good man. I just got back from some pickup and I caught the last 6 minutes of that UCLA Gonzaga game, man.
Oh,
And
dude, that's before we get into all the Dub stuff, man. Let's talk about that. To all the fans out there, I'm a big sports betting guy. I love sports betting, and had UCLA +8, under 152 and a half. I thought Sweet 16 game and get close towards the end. We're sitting there, UCLA up 151, so we just needed it, and then that dude just popped it top of the key. You knew it was going in as soon as he shot that shit. Great game though. This is what March Madness is all about. Draymond Green's Michigan State bounce, but Florida FAU get the with the upset. So we got some brackets, but your bracket busted out there, Matt.
this is actually one of the first years in a long time I haven't done a bracket, and I think it's probably. I'm not gonna say it's for the best. It's always fun, but was anybody's bracket even remotely intact after the first round?
Hey, that first game, that Furman 3-pointer after that like weird ass hook to the tie. This
Tough,
it was tough
tough
on
man.
Ty Jerome's Virginia Cavaliers. But as we speak of Ty Jerome, let's bring the attention to the Warriors, man. Great segue right there. Shout out Ty Jerome. But
Shout out Ty Jerome.
Warriors, we last time we spoke, it was heading into that 5-game road trip. Hit them with the 5-0 prediction. I know Matt, you were a little bit more conservative, Charlie as well. 3-2, I think was your guys, but the
So
Warriors.
I want to backtrack, man, because what I said was if they lost the Clippers game, I thought I was going to fall apart, and I was sort of right. I'm just saying, okay,
It's
they
true.
lost that Clipper game, lost the next two. Just saying.
Very true. Very true. You
But
spot on. Spot
go ahead,
on.
go ahead.
Very true. Very true. But the 5-0 did not come to fruition, but they ended it on a hot streak. So I thought we were both a little right. You said they'd start off and fall apart a little bit. I said this road trip would be the kind of coming together of the team and hopefully spark the last like 8-9 games or whatever's left. And that's kind of what happened. They finished the road trip off. I know we started off tough, but I mean, Steve Kerr said it too, but it felt like they were just right there, just finding a way to get over the hump. That Memphis game was tough. That Clippers game, that Steph 50 piece. The Atlanta game was a little disappointing, but bounced back with Rockets and the little Texas sweep. But Matt, just give me your thoughts on the road trip, man. Obviously the beginning that you pointed out struggled a little bit, but especially these last two games and that Dallas game was we had it slated as the biggest game of the season. Had to have a game. Kind of that first in a long time. It felt like the first time we had a game that mattered, and winning that felt huge. Like just the emotion and just the way the game played out, everything that was part of it. So just walk me through your thoughts on this entire road trip and last night's W.
Yeah, it was kind of like it was just a classic 2022, 2023 Warriors segment of the season in a lot of ways, right? They came off that little mini homestand against the Bucks and the Suns, got two pretty solid dubs, albeit they were against teams that were slightly diminished, just missing KD and Giannis. But afterwards we were all feeling pretty positive about how that might go. And then the Clipper game happened, and it just felt like, again, you just mentioned it, right? A Steph 50 piece, and the Warriors, it felt like a Steph 50 piece was all that kept them within 8 or 9. It didn't feel like it was ever going to get them over the hump. And so after that, I think, it's just how the season's gone, right? We were down in dumps, and they had two pretty winnable road games afterwards in Atlanta and Memphis. It was a back-to-back, which, of course, this team on the road as it is, you can't bet on anything. And after that Clippers loss, you could just it kind of felt like it was in the air that things were not going to go their way for a minute, and that the vibes are bad, to put it frankly, right? They're just, to put it bluntly, just things did not look good. So that loss against Atlanta again, Draymond got that 16th tee, I think, against Clippers, right? So he missed that Atlanta game, a game that, every game at this point, you kind of just said it, right? Every game kind of feels like a must-win game in a lot of ways. So losing that one was huge. Then going into Memphis, and that was actually probably the most concerning loss to me, because it's a game without Ja, without Steven Adams, which, funny enough, are probably two guys the Warriors target the most in a playoff series. But they're down two starters. The Warriors are down starters, so it's kind of like the Grizzlies are finding ways to win, and that was a game where the Warriors hate this team. They hate each other, man. And my thought going into it was either they're gonna get punked and they got punked, or they're gonna show out and kind of recognize like, hey, this is a good time for us to step out of our funk and get a win. They didn't do that. So I think you guys know I wasn't you guys being you and Chuck know that I was like, yeah, I'm out. This team's cooked.
Well, I think it was a
So
lot. They're a lottery team. I think that was
was that the
I think
text?
that was the quote. We're back, baby.
Oh,
That's what the
geez, man.
season's been
It's
about.
tough, man. It's tough to be in a group text with me, man. I'm not easy to hang
I
around
love
with
it.
this shit, dude. So, but you always have my the better side of my back, man. So I appreciate it, dude.
Hey
But
man, I got you. But I like you're spot on, dude. Like the like we said, like we recorded last time, and it was going into that Clippers game, and like the Clippers game, honestly, like I'm with you. The Clippers game didn't was not as concerning to me. It felt just like it was just tough. It was Steph and nobody else really kind of stepping up. JK had obviously we'll get into him in a little bit, but it just felt like gradually the defense started coming along, and that Memphis game, I'm with you, was a little concerned. It was very concerning for me, because they just got punked by the Grizzlies. Like they had just lost against them. Those after the whole Dylan Brooks thing, like he had his moment. So for me, it was I'm with you. Like it was like, yo, this is the game that you got to have. Like these guys are they're without Ja. They're going through so much shit. Like they've had so much turmoil this season themselves. Like you gotta capitalize on those. So that one was concerning. But to finish it off against, I think Houston. I forget who said it, but somebody I totally agree. It was probably the worst like of the collective performances.
they lose that game to 29 other teams or
Yeah,
28. That
100%,
team is not
100%.
Houston Rockets. They're losing that game. We've seen them lose that game to shitty teams like the
Oh,
Pistons, like
many
the
times
Hornets.
this
You know
season.
what I mean? It's happened. So
Yeah, but
that
like
just
that's
it
what.
goes to show how bad these Rockets are right now, man.
Yeah, 1,000%. But like it then, funnily enough, that's what makes this Dallas win yesterday so much better. Like to see that they still have it. Like this was the biggest game of the year. We've everybody's talking about it. You're tied for sixth or pretty much tied. Um, with a win doing so much to stay in that top six, and the loss puts you right in that like 7-13 like shit show that's still going on to get into the plan. So big win. I think everybody stepped up. Shout out Jonathan Kuminga. I think we've said it so many times, but his best game is the Warrior. You're seeing him figure it out on the offensive end, picking up Luka 94 feet and just he had whatever 30-something points or whatever, but he had 27, 28 shots. So making him work for it, you can see the impacts there, and you're seeing what hopefully we're getting the GP coming back, and hopefully Wiggins for the playoffs. But Kuminga is playing himself into a very very necessary role, and he's gonna be the key to winning a championship this year if the Warriors are gonna run it back. So I thought Jordan Poole had a great floor game yesterday. Very under control. You could see him attacking the basket. I want to say he shot. I think he shot like four threes and a lot more driving to the basket. Just very concerted, and just attacking the rim, and obviously Steph and Draymond. Draymond defensively, I thought was incredible. 5 fouls and still getting that stop on Luka, and Steph was just dicing him up, bro. That was one of the best point guard games Steph's had of this year. Like just the passes, the picking the spots, and to have whatever still finish with 23 and 13 or whatever you finish with. Like it was a great win, and in a weird game, like you said, like the refs fell
Super
off. Like
super weird. Yeah, the whole thing was weird, right? And I'm glad we kind of, and it's good that we acknowledge the Rockets. I'm not going to count the Rockets win. I'm just not going to, right? I mean, it is a win. I will count it in the standings, of course.
yeah,
Like,
but
I'm not
move
counting
on
that
from
as a
there.
road win. I'm not impressed by it. But that Mavericks game felt so huge to me. I mean, you kind of hit it right. You mentioned Clay, you mentioned Steph, you mentioned Kuminga, right? That just felt like a game where it's like the exact opposite of Steph's 50-point game to me, right? That was a game where no one else had anything going. I'm not saying this is not me. Please, nobody take this as like me saying that this team is better when Steph's not in attack. No, this team is better when Steph's averaging 36 and 6, like he averages, right? That's when they're the best. And he's putting in Clay and Poole are rolling. That's not how it's been of late. Right. Unfortunately, since Curry came back, Clay's been kind of off and Poole's been really off. Right. They haven't gotten much offense from anybody else for the most part, besides Steph, since he got back on the court. And it's not at least consistent offense. Right. We'll get spurts of Clay for a quarter, spurts of Poole for a quarter. We get some cool Kuminga flashes. But that game was like, I know at the beginning, it felt like a lot of people, especially on Twitter, right, were kind of looking at it as like passive Steph. And I think that's a reasonable way to start. If you're concerned that this team's not doing what they're supposed to do, it makes sense to be frustrated that Curry's not starting a quarter off, going out, right? But it became very clear early on. He's feeding Looney on dives. He's feeding Draymond on dives. He's when he's drawing two, he's just looking for everybody, right? Kuminga benefited. Everybody in the team finally felt like Steph was like, "Hey, do you see the space I'm creating? Do something with it." And finally, the guys started doing things with it, and they got layup after layup after layup on a Mavs team that doesn't really have any rim protection. So it really felt like, to me, something to build off of. And I also, just before we move on from the Mavs game, I thought Clay was pretty bad on offense. I thought he fell asleep on defense quite a few times, but I really want to give him credit for the work he did on Luka, though, because Kuminga did a good job guarding him. But I rewatched most of Luka's field goal attempts from that game, and Clay was making him work. Clay did a really good job on the ball on Luka, and so again, fell asleep multiple times on the weak side corner. He was helping no one. He was not in position to do anything on defense, and gave up a couple threes as a result. But individually on Luka, that's kind of the matchup for Clay now. It feels like, right? He's not guarding guards anymore, right? He's not guarding explosive players, but for a strong guy like Luka, who's really methodical, and his explosiveness is based around his pace, right? Clay feels like he's smart enough on the ball now to where, he can't keep up with the Shai Gilgeouses or the Jaws right now. But with a guy like Luka, Clay's just so smart on the ball that he can actually make the guy work. And again, 10 for 27 isn't just one guy. Yeah, Kuminga made him work.
Yep.
But I think we got to shout out the homie Klay Thompson as well, because that was a good effort. And was that to me, dude, that was JK and JP at their best that game. That was like that was the
for their role for their roles on this team specifically, like this, especially like obviously the talent's there. I think nobody's gonna argue like what these guys can be and like their potential of like growing into something. But for right now, like this is what you need from Jordan Poole. You need him to be aggressive on attacking the defense, attacking the paint, keeping him honest, and just generating these good threes. Like the Warriors, we've said it all year, man. There's such a difference between some of the threes they take. Like they take some just bad shot selection threes, and when they generate good looks, like Dante DiVincenzo, man, I love Dante. Everybody's like he's having a great season, but he's taking some bad shots too, man. Like when he's catching and shooting those threes that are driving in kicks, cash. Like those are pure. But he's taking them off the dribble, stuff like that. You're not generating the shots the right way. So when Jordan Poole's attacking, keeping the defense honest, he's got such a fast first step. He's creating for guys in the paint. You're able to kick it out. Like this is how you do it. Kuminga in that dunker spot, I think he's learned how to cut without the basketball. Offensively, he's learned how to pick everything up. He's a monster on the glass. Like the dude is such a freak athletically that you can just give him the ball on the post and like let him go to work if the shot clock's going down. And that mid-range game's coming along, that 3-point game, that corner three is looking nice. So overall, man, like these two guys are very key in terms of this whole two timeline thing that the front office has wanted to do, and we've seen play out. For this to really work and for it to generate into a championship, Jordan Poole and Jonathan Kuminga have to take that next step. And that last night was a perfect example. I think Poole had 0 turnovers. He was 16 and 6 assists or something, like 6-7 assists, and JK obviously had 22 and was just all over the floor. So big performance, and one that with reinforcements coming, this is a performance that you see. You got 4 games at home, and you've got your Western Conference opponents. I think they got the T-Wolves, the Spurs, the Pelicans, and someone else, whoever's on that the trip, correct me. But the Sixers, without Joel and James Harden, this looks like. So it's a perfect time. Like you've already picked up your 2 road wins. You've got that monkey off your back. You're good at home. You got to close out the season strong, and if they can, like they are very much in play with just how the Western Conference is working out to have some serious momentum going into the playoffs.
Yeah, I think it's just really key. Again, you just touched on it, I think, really well, man. I think just this team cannot do a lot in the postseason if they're good players, if their rotation players aren't good. Mm-hmm. And I know that sounds stupid, and it might sound like, duh. But if JP is the anything close to like the Walmart version of Jordan Poole that we've gotten in a lot of games recently, they're not going to win a lot. They don't have enough. Straight up, unless Clay is rolling and Dante is rolling, Kuminga is rolling, which I don't know. It's like nothing's a given at this point, right? Mm-hmm. And again, that doesn't mean they've survived some bad JP games, right? They survived a number of I'm not gonna say bad Kuminga games. I don't think he's bad, and I don't think he gets enough minutes to be bad very often if he's bad, right? He might have a bad moment and he gets pulled and doesn't have a chance to correct it a lot of the time. But if those two guys, they just give the Warriors, when they're doing what you said they were doing, right? You said Jonathan Kuminga getting downhill, he's still not like rebounding like crazy, but it feels like he's just getting tips. It feels like he's boxing out better. It feels like when he's around the basket, more Warriors get the ball. So I feel like he's a good team rebounder. I don't think he's a great individual rebounder yet, but I think he's getting better at those things. But it just again, it's just Jordan Poole finally, it seems like maybe got to that point where he realizes nobody is staying in front of him. And I just always peek at his 3-point attempts for his total field goal attempts, right? This was a perfect game for me. Like, hey, 4 3-point attempts. He didn't make any of them. I don't care. That's fine. Okay. But out of his 9 2-pointers attempts, at least, he made 6, right? And that's
That's
kind of
all
like
you
what it needs
that's
to
all you
be.
want to see. Like that, it's keeping it. You got to keep the. I mean, he's such a gifted scorer, like you said. Like just being able to get in the paint. You have to take the threes. And honestly, like yesterday, there wasn't any shot that like, any three that Jordan took that where I was like, it's a bad shot. I think he might have had one just kind of pulling up when they were. I think it came off the screen. Forget. It
Oh,
was,
he had a little heat check, man. He had a
yeah,
couple
and
shots.
like
He was doing the thing
and
that he knew that, hey, I went to the rim 5 times. I earned this shot. That was kind of how it went,
and
right?
he was dicing up, and he had a couple dimes in there. So I like those are the kind of shots you live with. And as a young, just dynamic guard, those are shots you owe it to Jordan Poole too. Like if he's doing his job and he's not turning the ball over and he's getting into the paint, getting guys involved, you owe like the guy. That's just who he is. He's gonna take one of those, and you can live with that if he makes
One,
it.
yeah, one's fine, man. And otherwise, take the
Like
one, and then like,
and
hey, that's the one, right?
yeah,
But yeah, I think if he just continues to do that, that's just again, I can't say enough. I say this probably every podcast and every recap I write. Him and Kaminga are the only guys in the team that can get the free throw line consistently. Like it's those two that they're using their athleticism to their strengths. They're gonna do wonders for this team in the playoffs when the game slows down and getting points when the clock is stopped is so important, right? Because this team does not get those points easily. So here's the just hope. Let's just hope that's how it goes for a minute because those two just both look like they're turning a corner, especially Kaminga. Man, the 3 balls fallen, the occasional little ISO, pull up. He's in the post. He's
he's in
dropping
his bag,
fouls.
dude. He's in his
No,
bag.
he's getting after
And
it.
he's got some, man, like that little like one little two dribble hezzy to pull up, and he's got the corner threes coming along. Like the guy is going to be a special talent. The kid has so much talent, but the fact that he has such an ability to impact his team right now when they are short-handed on the wings, it's been incredible to see. I think this is something that we've all thought that he could do. And to see the coaching staff start to trust him more and him to deliver these performances, especially on a tough road trip like 2 and 3. Yeah, Kuminga had 5 great games. Like I think every time he stepped on the floor, you were comfortable. You knew what you were going to get, and he delivered. So that's the kind of stuff you're going to be gonna need to see. But speaking of wing depth, our guy, he's on his way back, man. Gary Payton
So
second.
I do want to pause you real quick. I just want to ask you real quick. Do you think Kaminga should be starting over Dante, or is that just not enough shooting to actually have a defense respect to you if Looney and Draymond are out there?
Yeah, I mean, I don't I might be in the minority here, but I don't hate the starting lineup with Dante in it. I think that 3 guard unit of Steph, Clay, and Dante, they play well off each other. And then you got Draymond and Lin to start. So I mean, it's not like it's hurt them so much. So like
Mhm.
when they're generating good shots and able to get out in transition, Dante is a solid defender. So I don't see a need to change it up right now. But I don't get me wrong. I think the more Jonathan Kuminga is out on the floor, the better the minutes are. So I think you can work that combination. I feel like Kuminga is more comfortable at the 4. That's just where I see him more of like just a slasher. And just having 2 other guys and Draymond and Looney in there already, like I feel like it might clog it up, but you can't go wrong. The kid has earned a lot of playing time.
Yeah, I feel mostly the same way. I just think with Looney out there, it's really tough. I do think come playoff time, if Wiggins isn't back, I think we'll see a lot of the 3 guards you mentioned, Steph Clay, Jesus no, Steph Clay
That
and
lineup should be banned,
Clay.
man. I love all 3 of them, but
Oh, it's
geez,
tough, man.
this is
It's a
bad.
walk-in sieve, man. It's just come on and score, please. Those 3 though, Kaminga and Draymond, I'm really curious about. I'm also again some of the same issues with GP2, but I'd be really curious to see some kind of like wild Steph, Dante, Kuminga, or Steph, Dante, GP2, Kuminga, Draymond lineups, and just like,
Steph and
hey,
the Goons, baby.
yeah,
Steph
exactly,
and the
man. I want to
Goons.
see it so bad. So
That
TBD, man. But I totally stepped on your Gary Payton parade, man. Tell me more. How are you feeling
Nah,
about
man,
TBD?
I love the lob right there. Great segue. But GP, man, he's getting reval. You got reevaluated today. Sounds like he's gonna be back Sunday versus the T Wolves. And just could not come at a better time, man. You're coming off a game against the Sixers. It sounds like it's gonna be without Embiid and or Harden, maybe both, maybe one. So another winnable game. You're coming off in the home game, momentum swing, and for a big game against T-Wolves, you're getting some reinforcements at the right time. They've got Cat back. When we get GP back, man, and just your thoughts. I mean, obviously, like we've seen what Gary Payton II has done in a Warriors uniform. Hoisted Larry last season with us. Brought him back. I think this was the move that they made. This move, obviously, the story with GP's just injury and just the whole Blazers thing, but this was meant to be like that injection into the team at the trade deadline.
Good
And
pun.
thank you. Shout out. I felt a little creative on that one. But yeah, no, it was supposed to be just a breath of fresh air. You needed another guy in there. I think it's been something we've talked about, like just having guys that can hoop on play on this roster. So adding GP is huge, man. So just want to hear your take on that, and how are you feeling now that we're getting a little wholer by the second?
Yeah, I mean, it's so weird because I think in my head, if Kuminga is 80% of what he's been on and off for a few weeks now, this feels almost like a more important addition than Wiggins to me. That's not to understate Wiggins and how incredible he was in the playoffs last year. I just think the Warriors don't necessarily lack as much what Wiggins brings if Gary Payton is back, if that makes sense. And what the Warriors miss primarily from Wiggins right now is his weight defense, right? They definitely miss his shooting and his size overall. But Wiggins is not like he's been better rebounding the ball this year, but I think it'd be doing Dante a disservice to say that it's a massive drop off going from Wiggins to Dante. And so just having, again, it's not meant to be a we don't need Wiggins kind of conversation here. I think the Warriors, they again, second best player in their run last year, right? But it's just their problem all year has been point of attack defense. And I think when this roster is healthy, like given what they have now, I'd probably say Gary Payton and then Kuminga and then Wiggins and Dante for on ball on guards. And it's not, I think Wiggins is a great wing defender. I think he's a good guard defender, but those two guys to me are filling holes that I think the Warriors need filled more than they would by Wiggins. So Gary Payton coming in. Um, Denver in the first round, God forbid they're an 8 seed. It's Jamal Murray, right? Whether it's the Grizzlies, it's Ja, the Kings, it's De'Aaron Fox, the Suns, Booker, so on and so forth, right? Wolves in a play-in game, it's Anthony Edwards, okay? They're gonna have these guards, and there's really not a guard defender in the league that does what Gary Payton does. And I know Drew Holiday, and who is an All-NBA defender and should be in that realm. I truly think Gary Payton is better just as far as being a Hawk and just getting his hands on the ball and staying in front of a guy. There's no one I trust more in the league. And so it's huge.
So nice.
It's huge. And it's going to be huge for Poole, getting Poole out there in some of these lineups surrounded by guys who can actually defend, guys who Poole is on the floor often with one of, Steph and Clay. And when those two guys are on the court, any combination of those three, I should say, like things just open up. But a lot of the problem with this season is very few Warriors, if any, take advantage of that, right? And Gary Payton, we know, elite cutter, okay?
Oh, yeah, big time.
Elite, okay? Dunker spot, savant, baseline, pole dancer. I love it, okay? So get him out there. And there's actually one guy who's, despite his size, playing above his size, is playing above the rim, okay? And so I think it's huge. If he's healthy, he can give him 15 minutes a night, which maybe it could be more. I think I can see him closing games, and I hope he will because again, I think he's that special on the ball. And I shouldn't qualify that on the ball. I think he's that special of a defender, and he fits that well with this team. That I don't know. I'm excited about it, man. I think it could lead to some really good things and
championship.
Hey,
so. Nah, I'm with you, dude. Like it's you saw. I mean, you summed that up so well. But like the biggest thing I'm excited for is I'm glad you brought it up is for Jordan Poole. Obviously for JP, it's like the bench and starting thing has been a subject of discussion this season. And it's been all like when you put him with guys that can defend you, guys with like a Draymond, a Dante, the Wiggins, like JP, that his game opens up and you're able to not necessarily hide him, but you're able to supplement that.
No, they gotta hide him.
They gotta hide him. I love you, JP, but we do. I gotta say it like that. But like having a guy like GP, like you said, one of the best defenders in the league, just on ball. The guy is he's a ball hawk, dude. Like you need guys like that. Like you said, the Western Conference is as much of a shit show as it is standings wise. There are guys that if you have a Jonathan Kuminga, Dante DiVincenzo, Gary Payton, you're just getting with Draymond holding down the anchor. Like there's so many stuff, and Steve Kerr talks about connectors. Like Anthony Lamb brings up as a connect. GP2 is the ultimate like warrior offense or warrior just system connector on the defensive end, on the offensive end. So getting a guy like that back, and I'm with you. Like I obviously prayers out to Wiggins and his family and everything that he's going through. But like the rise of Dante, like the Kuminga stepping up, you feel like it's able to supplement. Like just you're not going to get back the all-star that you're missing in Wiggins, but their performances have been able to say, you know what, we just need a little bit more. Like, and that little bit more is Gary Payton second, and right there you have seven. You can't right. You got JP, Kuminga,
Yeah,
Dante.
8 guys. You got 8 guys.
Yeah, eight guys. You got eight
Honestly,
guys ready to roll. I think that like that, and obviously we've seen playoff runs. Like it's that's what it comes down to. You have eight guys that can go win you a championship, and adding a guy
yeah.
like Gary Payton back as that whatever seventh, eighth guy in that rotation. He's been that. We've seen him do it. So I'm so stoked for GP to be back. Happy he should have never left. Should have paid him in the offseason. This guy is a ultimate warrior, but the team is and it's happened at the perfect time. Like you need him. I think there's 7 games that would be if he comes back from the T-Wolves games, count that one. So it's the perfect amount of time for him to kind of get ready and rolling. And who knows, man? Like with the way the West is shaking out, the Clippers are injured, the Suns obviously missing KD. They got a tough schedule. Warriors had very much a good stretch of ball to end the season away from somehow getting home court. So who knows? Like they just got to keep this winning. But at the same time, the play-in is staring them in the face as well. So it's been a weird fucking year, man. But the fact that it's been a cool. I can't remember the last time we had it's kind of like the 2021 season. I want to say where it was like constantly kind of watching
Hey,
the standings.
fingers crossed, my guy. That
What
season did
happens?
not
Get
end
out of
well.
the plane
So.
this year. Just get to the dance, man. These guys got what it takes, and just coming off that Mavs win and having GP coming back, like it just feels like going home for 4 games. Like it feels like we've said it so many times this season, but it finally feels like this is the time that they turned the corner, and I think Dallas was the beginning of something good to end this stretch run.
Yeah, it's definitely quite literally now or never, right? This is
Literally,
good. And
literally.
that game
Dude.
was as good of a momentum builder as one could hope for. They've got 8 guys now, and I as much as he's earned the hatred of many, Anthony Lamb has been good of late since his he's guaranteed, his roster spot was guaranteed. He was really good in that game against the Mavericks. He had I don't know how many rebounds he had. I think he had 7 or 8 boards. Hit a big 3. I think he shot. This is when things are getting crazy. I think Anthony Lamb, the Warriors' 9th or 10th man, shot like 8 free throws, which again I think Steph shot 8 free throws like 4 times this year. So
I think he shot 8 free throws in the last 2 weeks.
Hey, what did you think of the Cuban protest, man?
Dude, what if that's such a joke? The ref points Dubs basketball timeout Mavs, and then Looney gets mad about it, and he's like, "No, and the ref's like, no, it's your ball." And so the Mavs totally just forgot what side they were defending. Like, there's no
100%. Nobody went to inbound the ball anywhere.
Exactly.
Sideline, baseline. No one was there. Were they not? Like, they forgot.
I just find it funny. The funniest part about the protest is that the only reason they were able to do that was because that garbage time, like that last second 3, they were down by 5. Like it's not like that lost them the game. You could have stopped Steph Curry on that layup. You could have stopped Draymond there. So a whole lot of crying. That protest, nothing's gonna happen. I just thought it was fun. It was ironic because it felt like the Warriors were getting hosed that game, dude.
Oh,
they were just bad. Again. I don't like to complain about refs all the time, and like it's been a weird season in general, but that shit was paid off. Like there was no way that you could convince me that it's like you're literally watching mirror images. Luka barely gets touched. Steph gets mauled. Anthony Lamb gets pushed down, and literally like 3 plays.
One of the more wild calls I've ever seen, man. That was nuts.
Cool for that loose ball foul. So the ironic it would be the way the
Draymond getting a phantom foul call.
Yeah, that Dante
playing picture perfect sliding my feet defense.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here. And you're talking about that, and you're talking about the refs blue call, dude. They were handing you guys a motherfucking game. You guys can close it out.
Yeah.
Go to the play, Mark.
Foster stuff. And also, I very rarely will throw props to the NBA, but they're I forget who reported it, but somebody kind of framed it as like NBA confirms that the refs got it wrong. Luka got away with the travel with 30 seconds left. It was just
that's exactly it was just off, man.
Just peak pettiness, and I'm all for it.
And then to see the Austin Reeves grifting to the next game, man, that was
my goodness, dude. How
That's insane. That's
He
insane.
shot like 16, 18, and 13 free throws in the last 3 games or something.
I,
Like
I
it
mean, hey
is.
man, like I look, if they're gonna call it, like as a player, you're gonna go to the line. But I think the NBA
Oh
seriously
man,
has
that's
to.
I go the Stephen Clay, Stephen Clay playbook, which is none of that bullshit, dude. You play ball, and those
Yeah,
people
I'm
get
with
there.
you. I'm with you. Like you, that's not what basketball is, and it's a league problem, man. Like it's getting hard to watch. Like if you're not watching a Warriors game and you're just watching hoops for fun, like you're seeing these, you see that. Like, I'm happy we kind of touched on this because you're watching March Madness right now, and the refs are letting them play. It's physical. The fouls are
Also, they
getting
missed a
called.
big one, man. They called a block on somebody
Yeah,
facilitated something, man.
yeah,
That was
that was
rough.
the
But
thing.
anyways, beside the point.
You said, but
Yeah,
like they're letting them play, and you're seeing like
yeah,
referees don't have to be the story every fucking game,
no.
and it should not be at this level of incompetency from the officials. And if you're gonna call bullshit, call it both ways, like the consistency in some way, and just clean it up. So, fuck the referees. I know the Warriors can't say that. Players, owners, coaches, whatever. But as a Game Six Clay podcast, we can totally say fuck you for the season.
Just wild stuff, man. And just
Insane,
like
man.
what a just like again. I don't. I think it's just like, hey, they've lost it. The refs have lost control of this one. They totally did, and it was such an important game for both teams. And
Literally,
I
it's
can understand again. I was confused watching the play initially, but I'm not there. I'm not a referee. I'm not on the court. So for me, if someone to be like, yeah, we got Mark Cuban's like, he wrote this Greek tragedy tweet, right? So
yeah,
talking about how the Mavs got whatever robbed, or
worst
they were
call in
on the
NBA
wrong side
history.
of
Are you kidding me?
ball in NBA history. Then you watch it, and you're like, I think if the announcer, if the quote unquote announcer announced it, he was wrong. That makes sense. He was
Yes.
confused. I watching the broadcast. I was
Yeah,
like,
it
oh
was
shit.
confusing. It was confusing.
Then you see the replays, and you see him go to Looney, like you said, and you see the funny one was Poole and being like, I
He's like,
don't
yo,
know.
it's our ball. And you can see him talking. He's like, no, it's yours. Like, take it.
Like, is this
And
our
the funniest
ball?
part, there's zero evidence that Mark Cuban was like they called him out his ball. It's like you can see him clearly point to the Warriors thing, and the Mavs did it. They just forgot, bro. Like they
Yeah,
literally forgot what
you
side.
forgot,
And
man.
look, man, I'm sure that like that's happened in AAU or like middle school basketball.
Yeah,
It happens. It happens to the best of
yeah,
them.
dude, it's okay, man. But
It
it's also
happens.
just
It
again.
happens. And but man, I'm happy we're back home. I'm happy we got a 4 game homestand. Let's before we get out of here, man, as always, let's get these predictions going. We got the Sixers,
Wow.
the T Wolves with GP back, hopefully. You got the Pelicans, and then I want to say, let me pull up the schedule real
They
quick.
got Sixers, Wolves, Pelicans, Spurs,
Spurs,
Nuggets,
Spurs.
Thunder. Yeah, so it's Sixers, Wolves, Pelicans, Spurs. Um,
How are we feeling, Matt? I'll let you go with this first, but
yeah, so if we're just
where I'm
talking
going.
home, I'm picking the schedule right now, and I actually feel kind of optimistic. I think this is tough. This is a wild stretch. It's interesting because you got the Sixers, who, like you said, I think both Embiid and Harden were questionable. TBD. Like I'd be surprised if both didn't play, but especially with Embiid gunning for the MVP
I
like he
think they're
is.
coming off a back to back, so they might be something to watch.
I don't think the
Oh
Sixers
no,
played
never
last night.
mind.
They played last night,
They
yeah.
played last night. Never mind.
But Embiid's working for the MVP right now, so I'd be surprised if he sat out. I think it's a national TV game, so I'd be pretty surprised if he didn't play. Um,
NBA TV. So
yeah, but I think 3-1 for that homestand seems pretty reasonable. I think in a perfect world, I think getting Gary Payton back Sunday's gonna be huge. I think that Cat being back helps the Warriors. They
huge for
love
the Warriors.
torturing two guys. The Warriors just love torturing more than anybody are Rudy Gobert and
Can't
Karl-Anthony
wait for that one.
Towns. So that'll be interesting. So I think that, and again, the Pelicans have been struggling for a bit. I think they're not, again, per usual, they're not healthy. Zion's not back, so TBD, but that's a very winnable game. And then the Spurs are the Spurs, right? The Spurs are the finish line for the Wemby race. So I'm just curious, man. I'm gonna say 3-1 now, and that feels optimistic that this team has been good at home. I don't think they can string together 4 wins in a row ever. So
It'll be six at that point.
hey, you get to finish the season 5-3, and there's the losses I'm circling if I'm them are the Sixers, the Nuggets, and the Kings. But if you finish out the Wolves, the Pelicans, the Spurs, the Thunder, and the Blazers, man, those are all winnable games.
Winnable games.
You're 43 and you're 43 and 39, and that I don't know.
Should be good enough for. I would think that's probably good enough for the top six.
Should
Uh,
be, should be,
They'll be
especially if they beat the Wolves and the Mavs in the same week, man. Those are two big wins.
three
Just in
time
the
wins.
standings, man. Those are worth twice the points. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna say, like I said, I've said it 4 times now, but I'm gonna go 3-1, and that loss probably come to the Sixers, or they'll surprise us and win the first three and lose to the Spurs the next Friday. So who knows?
As I would not be surprised, but I'm going for a little redemption, just selfish. I picked 5-0 on the road trip. Didn't pan out, but we're trending the right way. So I'm gonna go 4-0, man. Like you said, I think there's all winnable games, and no back-to-backs, which is huge. They got the Sixers, obviously, like you broke it down, man. There's no reason, especially at home. This team has obviously played really well at home. I think that's the second best home record. Everybody's back, outside of Wiggins, obviously, but you're getting a full squad pretty much for this homestand, and the time now. I think the urgency is there. You've heard it from the players. I think Clay's said it after one of the games that these last 8-9 games we're treating them as the playoffs, and they realize that it's the time. Their real season is almost starting, and there's a perfect way to end it. Like you said, man, there's 2, maybe 3 games in there that you really think that, all right, maybe they won't win this one.
Hey, so we're gonna record before this, to be clear, but 8 games left. Just go ahead. How many games the Warriors gonna win this year? They're at 38 and 36 right now. What's the final record?
44 and 38. I think they go 6-2.
I'm surprised, man.
I think they go 6-2.
Okay, I thought for sure 45 was on the table there.
Nah, I mean, as much as I'd want to, I just, like you said, I just don't see them finishing off 9 for 10 or whatever that would be. I think they drop one of those. I wouldn't be surprised. Like you said, I think the Nuggets game is looking at me in the face. I feel like they drop one at like some bullshit game and they win a bullshit game. So I think it balances out, but I think they finish 6-2. But I think it starts off with a 4-0 homestand right here.
Yeah, their best bet with that Nuggets game is last home stretch. Let me the Nuggets run back to back. I'm not checking the schedule right now, but Jokic needs some rest. They said, yeah, that's the best bet for that one.
And like the Blazers game to end it all, like I think that Dame's not going to be playing, so and they're also out of the race. So the way the Kings are also, who knows, maybe they're matching up with the Kings first round at that point, and the Kings decided to rest some guys. Who knows, like Thunder might be out of the race and might be in it depending on.
I don't think the Kings are gonna rest anybody, man. They want to kick. If they play the Warriors, they're gonna want. I don't know how it goes, but I'm not counting out the Kings in any matchup for one. And I also think if that series, if the Warriors get down there for the last game of the season, I think the Kings will play everybody and try their best to make a statement like, hey,
as they
playing
should.
this. Of course.
But
you respect it, right? So yeah, 44, man. I think I like that, man. I think 44 seems pretty reasonable. They got
44 is feeling good. I feel
5 home games left. They should win 4 of them. They have 3 row. Oh, man, I don't know, man. Now I'm saying that, dude.
It just comes down to it comes down to going 4-0 on this one. I think they do that. And split the last 4 games. You got 2 on the home, 2 at home, 2 or 3 on the road. And
43. I'm going 43. I think 43.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. We'll get check on the next one, and then we'll get a friendly little wager going to.
He'll have Chuckster.
He loves Chuckster, but hell yeah, man, that was obviously another great one. That was a fun time again, man. Yeah. The real season's starting soon. The real basketball is coming back.
Dude, I hope so, man. You know what though? I almost said something horrible. It's not true. I was gonna say there have been moments for the last 2 weeks where I watch all the games. Of course, I can't help it. It's like. It's just the hell we put ourselves through, right? Is our cross to bear. But
I think we're gonna be looking back at this regular season and just laughing at how it played out. But I think the playoff run it's so wide open that I think that these guys can taste 5, man. I think that
I will say though, I agree. I think there's a chance if GP is back and looks great and Kuminga is more of what we've seen from late, especially if Wiggins comes back. But if they lose and if they get knocked out for the playoffs, I will be happy. I think in retrospect, the season ended when it did. That's bad vibes, and I'm sorry for it. But if they get in, I'll feel thrilled. If they're in, I'll be happy.
It's happening, man. I can say I'm starting to dream of scenarios where the Warriors have got another parade down Market Street and Steph's got 5. Just don't let them win it. They told you don't let them win it last year. Don't fucking let them win it this year. After this shit show of the season, they pull this off.
If they win this year though, Lake Up is trading everybody, man. He's like, hey, we got 5. I'm sending Steph to Atlanta.
Ultimate Jerry Krause. But
yeah, geez, Louise,
man. Don't let them win it this year. That's all I'm gonna say.
I hope that's how it goes, brother.
I'll be firing. But other than that, man, before we get out of here, man, anything you got to shout out this week?
I wrote a recap of the game last night, and I already forgot who the Warriors played, even though Mavericks. Mavericks game, man. So check that out, please. Sunday, I'll be doing what'd you say?
Talked about it for an hour.
Yeah, just that. That's just the last hour
of
our
lives.
Man. Yeah, geez. Oh, dude, you're telling me, man. I'm hooping for an hour and a half. My calf feels like it's not attached to my body anymore. Then I think I've got the Timberwolves on Sunday, so check that out, guys. As always, read Chuck, follow Gautam on Twitter for some of the best and most real, I think, Warriors content. So stick with them, and that's all I got, man.
My dog. Hey, as always, check out the gifts from Matt. Check out
Hey,
Switch Theory, all the stuff that Chuck's getting into. Gangster's Clay Pot, man. Check us out as always. We're making moves as well. Hopefully we got some stuff cooking up for you guys
yeah,
in the playoffs. Last year was awesome. Just with all the post game pods and everything like that. So hope to get a nice little long playoff run for obviously the Warriors revenue streams. I've been benefiting from the finals run, but Games is clay pot. Who knows? Maybe we get a
hey,
little action going. But other than that, man, see you guys on the next episode.
otherwise.
Otherwise, see y'all on the next episode, man.